Hello there. I'm here with Barry Coombs at Virtualized Real, and yeah, we're just gonna have a quick chat about VMworld. Yeah, Barry, I'll just start you off. How was your VMworld? What do you think overall of the remote experience?
Yeah, it was certainly a very different experience to that we're all used to. I think I've been to VMworld for over every year for the last 10 years now. But I think we all appreciate in the strange times that we're in at the moment that things have to be different. I think it was a good event. The scheduling worked a lot better than I've seen for other conferences such as Microsoft Ignite. And I liked the kind of TV station feel that it had. If you had found that you had a free gap in your calendar, you could go and choose if you wanted to go and watch the infrastructure TV station or the workspace transformation TV station, etc. So that was good. The real challenge for me, as always, with these kind of virtual conferences is dedicating the time to it as much as you would if you're at a physical conference. And things kind of crept in my calendar. But hopefully we'll be able to enjoy the content over the next couple of weeks as well to make sure I get the full amount from it that I want to.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with a few other people, and I've said, I think VMworld, we got the content, but now we've got to binge watch it over 2 weeks, a bit like Netflix, really. So it's like they've released their season 2 of The Mandalorian or something, and you've got to binge watch all the content, because it literally is trying to find that time to dedicate it. Because I think a lot of people generally, if they go to the physical conference, they obviously book the time off. But
Yeah.
with this, you're kind of fitting it in with your work schedule. You haven't cleared your calendar as much, or things like you said, things will creep in.
That's it. And I kind of blocked out the calendar to start with, but then as urgent things start to come, you go, oh, actually, I could just do that. I'm not going to be over in Barcelona for this one. And I thought it was also interesting, the kind of change in the keynotes as well. I'm very used to the keynotes being kind of an hour and a half or maybe even 2 hours long, I think, in certain situations, where not only you saw the announcements, but they dug into it and maybe did a bit of a demonstration. And in the virtual format, they were very quick and punchy, which I saw some people liked. They liked the fact that it kind of came thick and fast. For me, I like to take kind of notes. I do my doodles that I share on my site. I found it very difficult because there wasn't much meat to the bone in the keynote sessions. So I've got to go and pick out those sessions that would now kind of fill in those details for me.
Yeah, I did get a very kind of the production value. I mean, I heard different comments about the video's production value as well on it and stuff. I must admit, the first keynote we saw, this would probably be more for the people in the UK, but I got a very Tomorrow's Worldy kind of feel of it. Like I felt like Pat Gelsinger looks a bit like Jon Snow telling us all about the new technology and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
The production value is very, 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 very crisp in some places, but I did think some of the announcements were pretty good. Obviously, they went over what's been happening with Carbon Black over the last year or so since the acquisition. And yeah, there was obviously stuff on Tanzu and what they're doing with app modernization and stuff like that. What was the main? I mean, they did announce a few things. What stuck out for you the most?
For me, it was that kind of ever enhanced vision of their strategy, sort of any device, any cloud, any application, any device, any cloud with intrinsic security. And what we've really seen with VMware over the years is they've stuck with that. That's been a very strong vision. It's like kind of any app part of it is being pushed quite heavy now, and Kubernetes is mentioned in every other sentence. Yeah. I did share that's a little bit difficult for me. It isn't really a world that I live in, but I think that is really good that VMware are doing that, and certainly in their larger customers in the cloud space, I think that's really going to pay off for them. It was also interesting to see the kind of evolution of the workspace strategy for me. I deal with a lot of workspace stuff. I've been an EUC guy for a long time, and it appears that 2020 is finally the year of VDI. Just as we all thought it was starting to die, kind of thing.
You're not allowed to say that. That's meant to be the secret sauce. We're all deniers on that at the moment.
Well, that's it. And it's obviously we've been forced into a different way of working. And whilst we were kind of all on this strategy of moving to more modern apps and modernizing the way that we work, so VDI wouldn't really be required anymore. We've kind of been dropped in it a little bit too soon. So actually these legacy applications, the need for VDI is very much still there. And that, as well as VMware's zero-day onboarding experience that I saw in Workspace ONE, was really interesting as well. The fact that they're kind of going beyond just providing the desktop to the employees, but fully supporting that onboarding experience. So really good, mature strategy that I see coming along. I just need to dig into the detail a little bit more now and see what it's like in implementation.
Yeah, we all need a vacation to absorb the information. Is what we need. We just need to sit down with a tablet for 2 weeks. So yeah, I mean, I also obviously, I do work with Cohesive TU. You did go to the CEO book club. Did you anything kind of ring clear with you on that? Because I know that you probably absorbed quite a few books.
Yeah, definitely. So I thought it was an absolutely fantastic session. I thought it was something that definitely the industry needs more on. To hear both Chris and Mohit, two people that I've got a lot of respect for, that have kind of done quite a lot in the industry, talking about the importance of kind of knowledge about consuming content, was really important to me. I think those of us that are kind of looking to further ourselves and looking to our peers as to what has worked for them on their career progression, I think that is really important, and maybe something that we all should be a little bit more open to. But also, I believe there is an immense amount of value from that. At the end of the day, when we're looking at vendors, when we're looking at technology, being able to connect with someone and relate to them is really important. And certainly that kind of more relaxed conversation on something that was really obviously a passion of Mohit's was really important to me. And certainly from a brand perspective, that really did come across well. It also really kind of sat well with me. Everyone knows that, as I say, I've already mentioned, I do my doodles. I like to summarize content that I like to read. And that was one of his tips that he gave. He gave lots of good tips about being able to consume content quicker and easier. But one thing that he found really important was then summarizing a book after you read it. And that's something that really does work for me. And I was pleased to hear that others use a similar strategy and found that works.
Yeah, that's something I heard a couple of years ago, was like, if you read a book, it's often good just to jot down some notes in your mind of the key things that you liked about it, because it helps it sink more in. Or if you've just completed a chapter, write something about that. There's a couple of good books that I've read, and it's boring, but on finance, where literally it's like at the end of it, they have like short memory exercises where you write down what you've learned over the last chapter or so you can actually just kind of absorb that information more. It helps you actually use your mind and think.
Definitely, and that was one of the things that Mohit said, that if he finds a book that he likes, and he does a number of things, I won't repeat it. You go and watch the session, but certainly he was a big advocate of listening to things on Audible, and then if it's good, then reading the written book as well. And that's something that I've actually taken to doing, that is doing it on Audible. I'll read the book, and actually I've read a book whilst listening to it on Audible at the same time. And I find that kind of dual sensory experience is really quite good to help the information stick in, if it's something that you do think is really going to be useful for you.
Yeah, exactly. We've got to find these new ways of learning. We're in a remote world nowadays. We can't always, we're not as connected as we were. So we're using our digital connections and the different learning methods we have to be able to help get more information. I think that's something which also we took away from VMworld in general is, we had this new platform. We obviously had your session builder. There was the VMUG had their second life, which I didn't partake in, but I heard some people thought it was good, some people thought it was bad. So that's going to be a hot debate as well. Mm-hmm. So I think you're taking all these different channels, and you've got the idea of using more than one channel to be able to help you learn. You can take this idea that has come from just like having an Audible, having a book. You can take the same thing and you can put it online, and you can use your Discord, and you can use that to ping ideas off and stuff like that. We've got to expand our minds when it comes to working in this digital world nowadays. And I think that's a lesson which hits home, and a lot of people I think took that away from the session as well.
People like to learn in different ways, and I think that's ever more apparent now when we're in this very different world that worked before, that potentially presenting an event like VMworld in one single way, one single mannerism, may limit your ability to be able to communicate to those that you are trying to communicate your messages to. So being able to do these things in different ways will probably be the way to do that. And not to keep on about the Cohesive thing, but for me, I wouldn't have probably gone through the agenda and picked a session about Cohesive platform, because I'm already quite knowledgeable about it and what I do. But because I was able to relate to another piece of their content, I did then double back and go, right, what else should I be looking at that they might be doing? So I do think we do need to kind of grab people's attention in new and interesting ways to make sure it sticks in, and to make sure that we're having a conversation with the broadest audience possible.
Yeah, it's as much about people and making that connection as it is about what we do for work. And I think that's something which they did touch on one of the VMware keynotes, actually, about driving change into the environment for change.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that we need to take on board when we're navigating the landscape of vendors that are out there and everything. So
there was a great session about innovation and how VMware's innovation engine and the different stages of innovation and where it goes through. I think it's on my doodle the same as the Cohesity one. And they spoke about the different programs they have inside VMware that align with the different types of innovation. I thought that was really interesting, especially as they related it to a story of how Alan Renault ended up in the job that he's currently doing at VMware. Obviously was in the automation division, had a real passion for VR, and was able to then kind of talk about that passion, explore it, to get to where he is today and all the great things he's doing in that business unit.
Yeah, Alan's always been on the cutting edge wherever he wants to go, wherever he wants to steer himself, and I think that's it. You've got to follow your passion as much as anything else, especially if you're going to be you're driving your own career forward, especially in a remote environment or something like that. You got to be very comfortable with what you're doing on your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's key as well. But yeah, anyway, I think we'll wrap this up. I think I enjoyed my VMworld. It sounds like you did.
Indeed.
No, quick thing. If you could have improved anything, what would it have been?
Interaction amongst everyone there. Unfortunately, I was on Twitter. I didn't get involved in any of the side things. I hadn't had enough time to kind of review what they were. So some way, somehow, allowing me to connect with the other attendees in a different way, in a more natural way, would have made it perfect.
Yeah, I think definitely there was some community elements that were available, but I think with the actual VMworld site itself, it was very much just an information platform. So yeah, I think that's kind of what I took home as well. But yeah, anyway, Barry, so that's great. We can find you on Twitter at virtualizereal, and you are also available on techdoodles.co.uk. Is that correct?
That's correct. Thanks very much, Patrick.
Yeah, good stuff. Thanks for the chat.
Cheers.